Warning: the following program may contain material not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Kill the noise and cut the static. Broadcasting from high in the mountains of West Virginia, we're leaving the 9 to 5 in the rearview mirror. The engine is warm, the lights are green, and it's finally time to shift your Wednesday into overdrive. And now, here's your host, Diego the Podcaster.
On this episode of Bonus Overdrive Wednesday, hailing from the great area of Chicago, they are comprised of members who have toured everywhere from the East and West Coast to international stages in the UK and South Africa. This rock powerhouse is built on a foundation of global experience. Their mantra, "Can't Keep Us Down," sets their standard on how they live and how they rock. As they gear up for a massive national expansion in 2026, the band is hitting the ground running with their high-octane new single, "Turn It Around," available now. All this plus more. Please welcome our new friends and first-time guests. They are Chicago's own, The Rising Fall. Friends, welcome to Bonus Overdrive Wednesday.
Thank you for having us.
Hello, everyone.
Thanks for having us. Hello.
I'm hyped up. I'm not going to lie to you. I've been listening to you guys for the past few months. And I'm trying to figure out how I discovered the band, because sometimes I hit these rabbit holes late at night when I'm doing my research. And sometimes different bands will post, "Hey, if you have a band, put a post up and link yourselves." I think it's on Facebook. And I just go down the rabbit hole. And I'm like, I saw the name of the band. I love the logo. I clicked on there, got on the website. Haven't stopped listening since. So I really appreciate you helping me stay up late at night and rocking, because there's some really great stuff here that I'd like to introduce to the fans and listeners of Bonus Overdrive Wednesday. But before we begin, would you mind introducing yourselves and your part in The Rising Fall?
Well, I'll start. I'm KK. I'm the lead singer and keyboard player.
I'm Dimitri, bass player and some backing vocals as well.
I'm Steve, guitar and also backing vocals.
I'm John, but today I'm Abe Froman, Sausage King of Chicago.
And he's the drummer, by the way.
I am the drummer.
And he's
That was
also
that.
sausage.
Yeah. Well, that's something that a drummer would say. You know, that's okay. Look, I've had a lot of musician friends. Everybody has a lot of fun with each other, but you know, every band has a history. And I mean, you guys, been all over the world individually, been in probably different bands, different projects, but now you got the perfect storm with the band right now. And I like to start off with something that's caught my attention, because I think it's pretty badass, if you don't mind me saying that. We're going to talk about your mantra. "Can't Keep Us Down." Now, for the listeners that are just not getting ready to know you, how would you best describe the energy and the attitude that the band brings to the studio and on stage?
Well, the mantra actually came from our name, The Rising Fall. And it is basically, "Can't Keep Us Down" is something like we live by, especially as the band, because as an original artist and trying to get your name out there, there's a lot of roadblocks that you face. And it's a lot of rejection. And you have to go in with this attitude that, well, nothing's going to stop us. So we just plow through those roadblocks step by step, wherever we find them. And it's just something that we find that it's just to always have that positive attitude, just because there's so much negativity and so much rejection in the music business right now. So it was something just we got to keep in the back of our mind, so.
Believe in yourself and the product that you have, the music and stuff, and then, keep going forward. That's what you have to do, especially when you play shows sometimes that maybe aren't the best, and maybe there's a crowd that's not there. Keep going forward, because, hopefully eventually it'll, in the long run, will pay off. And, it takes baby steps, but got to keep going.
It's all about showing up and just continuing to show up, because that's what Can't Keep Us Down really means, is that no matter how many no's we get, you almost have to have this false sense of confidence and just keep on going. You just can't stop. And if you don't stop, then good things will happen eventually.
Yeah, we fight really hard, and a lot of times we make a lot of mistakes. It shows, like forgetting where your fog remote is, or forgetting where your input jack is on your new amp. But you're just gonna keep learning and fighting through it. But eventually, people will see that how much you love what you're doing. So, because it comes out on stage, so that's the rise part.
And this is very interesting and inspiring at the same time, because if you could take a handful of people, I mean, you have 4 or 5 or 6, however many people you have in a band, and not only in bands, we're talking about sports team, we're talking about work. Not everybody always shares the same core values, but as the way you all describe your mantra, it seems like you all are synchronous in the way you think, which brings me to this point, because each and every one of you most likely have played in different bands and have done different things and internationally. So how did the crossroads that you all get together and begin?
Steve, John.
Well, the instigators are at this
it was
Steve's frozen, so
Steve and I are the original instigators, as far as we started playing together when we were both in high school. I'm a year older than Steve. And I actually remember the first time where I asked him if he wanted to jam. It was on the bus. Some days I took a different bus. I would take the bus to go to my cousin's house, and this was one of those days. And there was a girl in the bus who kept on saying, "You should ask that guy because he's got long hair. He's got long hair, so that's a guy you should play music with." I was like, "Oh, okay, whatever." And I was coming from a completely different world than him. I was 100% jazz. I'm a jazz drummer by trade. That's how I learned how to play drums. And he was a metal guitarist. Mm-hmm. So we met in the middle because we had to play a song in like a school function. And we needed to come up with a song that both of us knew and would be kind of palatable to that audience. And we picked "Are You Gonna Go My Way" by Lenny Kravitz. Because it was like, all right, that's kind of in the middle here, at least, when I was 16 and he was 15. So that's how it started. And then Steve and I were in a band after that, an official, like, real band called Epitaph. We changed our name to Avalon eventually. We made some headway in that band, but that band disbanded. Well, 97? I don't want to say the year, but it wasn't too long after Steve and I jammed for the first time. And then after that, we kind of lost touch for a long time. And then when we reconnected, we got to a point where we were playing, just jamming, having fun. And I had asked him, I said, "Hey, would you come over? I have an idea." And he came over and I just presented it. I said, "Would you want to start a band with me?" And he said, "Yeah, let's do it, whatever." And that's where Kimm and Dimitri come in right after that. So I'll let them take that part.
Yeah, so that's John and Steve's history. Then my history with Steve would have been many years ago, where we were both in the same band. It was a Megadeth tribute band. Actually, I saw the High Speed Dirt is the name of the band, and I saw them on stage one year. And I said, "Man, I'd really like to be in that band." I was trying to just get started out in the Chicago scene. And about 2 months later, I saw an ad, they were looking for a bass player, and that was the end of that. So it was, got in that band. We played many years through it. And then eventually I had left and then actually was in another band with KK. We were in called the Flying Hamsters of Doom. It was all original. And then we shortened up the name to FHOD, which stood for Flying Hamsters of Doom. We did that and then kind of got out of the music scene for about 10 years or so, because it was a struggle and it was a battle anyway. And then Steve called me up one day. I talked to him on the phone after he had talked to John and said, "Hey, looking to start a band, female vocals, need a bass player, need a vocalist." We got together, talked. We started writing, started jamming, started writing. Things started to click. Right away, and then, we started writing original songs. And within a year, by the time we kind of first started, but it was August of 23 or 23,
24, right?
Yeah. No, our first gig.
Our first gig was
23.
23.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we only
Okay.
had 5 songs.
We only had 5 songs, and we was basically it was a band. It was a bill with a couple tribute bands, and we played like 25 minutes or whatever it was, and that was it. And then it wasn't until about 24 we started picking up steam, and then 25, and now into 26. So the ball started slowly rolling, and now it's starting to roll a little bit faster, which is great. And we've got a bunch of songs now recorded and written, and doing a lot more shows. So
Which is a funny thing too with the one song that you're going to mention later, would Turn It Around, was one of our very first songs we wrote as this band. And we needed to fill up time. So that's why the song is kind of long, because we were like, the longer we make it, it'll eat up time when we play live. So we never shortened it after that. But it was like, it was kind of like a funny thing. It's like, we're like, well, there's a reason why this was long.
Yeah, we're turning into a jam band.
yeah,
The Grateful
20
Fall.
minutes.
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Was very interesting what you just said. You're talking about 2023, when things got started up. We're in 26, 3 years. Now, us, I'll call the end users or the listeners, would think, well, that's not very long. For you guys, probably, man, it's been forever. We've been together. You guys been, it's not you've been putting in the work. You know the struggle. You have an end goal. But honestly, when I listened to the band, it caught my attention from the first track I listened to. It doesn't sound like a band. I hope you don't mind me saying it. It doesn't sound like a band that's only been around for maybe 3 years.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. We'll take it as a compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I hope you do, because I guess it comes from the experience that everybody's had prior to this, different projects and different bands, but also, if you include the mantra and the way your dynamic is, especially now I'm just getting to know you during this interview, I can see why. Because it seems that with the same goals, the output is going to be tremendous. But let's talk about those, 3 years now. What are you doing now? Because I know that the music scene has changed since I remember back. I go back into the 70s and the 80s. I've seen every version of everything that's come out, every scene that's come up and come down. But it seems that everything's different now. Mostly now, the bands have more of the power to do what they wanted to do before. So how are you guys? What's your strategy? How are you handling this?
So, okay, it's positive and negative. Back when we were playing, we did live shows and people came out and saw live music and everything. And there was this buzz about a band, strictly just from live performances and that. Now the buzz is created by online streaming, or, it's not necessarily people going to shows. So we have to adapt to that, because we know we need to market a different way than just our live performances. We have to appeal to that audience that's not going to see us live ever. So that's one struggle. But in a positive way, people from all over the world now have access to us, where they never got to see us, or will have the opportunity to see us live. So it's got its balance that we always have to kind of figure out and we're learning, trust me, we are no experts at this. We didn't even have a Spotify account until like a year ago.
All right.
I mean, that is, again, its own little, monster that we have to learn to tame. But, it's a lot of that.
Well, we were in original projects, and a lot of bands that were original bands, they had CDs for sale at their shows. So you come out to the gig, you got your merch, you got your T-shirts, whatever else, you got your CDs, people buying CDs for $10 and stuff like that. Now it's all digital. Now bands still sell CDs, but now it's like you're going digital. So you're not making any money from the CDs, to recoup some costs to go back into recording and all that kind of stuff. So everything's online now, but your music is getting out there. But now it's more you're relying on the live shows for people to come out, and build an audience that way. And then you sell merchandise and all that kind of stuff. So it's changed. And then especially now, we recorded 9 songs and we've got 8 of them out there. We didn't do a full length CD. we're recording 2 or 3 songs at a time, and then we're spacing it out on the releases for like every few months to keep interest in the band. Because now the models sort of change where it's like, yeah, first here's a CD, which I love listening to CDs and the whole thing, but now it's like you have to like piecemeal it out there individually. So that's kind of changed as well. It's adapting to everything and trying to learn as you go, and it's crazy.
It's a wide open, there's so much more opportunity right now than there used to be, but the payoff is much, much smaller than it used to be. So I think you have a weird apex there, but either way, I mean, it's great having these opportunities and having the exposure to, potential fans from around the world. That's something that you didn't have 15, 20 years ago. So in that regard, it's great. It's awesome. But on the other side of that is that, yeah, we're playing these live shows and people just don't go out with the same frequency that they used to. So it's much tougher of a sell.
Well, yeah, and the thing too, just to piggyback, like I think like labels and all that stuff, they look at Spotify, they look at followers, and it's like it's all the digital stuff, which is great. But if you're a band and you pack a house of 200-300 people, that's got to say something as well. Obviously, you have 80,000 followers, but that doesn't mean you got 80,000 fans or whatever. So like, it's just a different. I mean, a lot of bands made it from being a live band.
Yeah.
So, but like John said and Kim said.
But another thing too is opportunities like this on your podcast. We weren't getting those opportunities. Maybe a radio station here or there, a terrestrial radio station would interview us back in the day. But now it's great because we get to like be on all these different online streaming radio stations or podcasts and that too.
Yeah.
So that opportunity is a lot better for us now too. So, for people to get to know us as people in addition to the band,
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that. I'm going to go to an appearance you made not long ago, back in January. I have a story that goes with this because for me, it takes me back. And I'm going to be showing my age when I start talking about this. And I know you're going to say, man, you don't look a day over 21. And I will accept that. But I think this is in January 9th where you perform WGN. So for us to get it on the East Coast, we have to have cable TV. And back in the day, I used to watch this show. It used to stress the shit out of me. The Bozo Show.
Yeah.
Now, because at the end of that show, they're daggone kids. I only see them win once. So they had the buckets with the ping pong balls. I only see one kid win it all. Some kids just from the first bucket didn't make it. They still give him a bicycle, which is very nice, but it used to stress me out before I went to school. It's like nobody ever made the last one. One poor kid did, but anyway, why am I talking about that? Because talking about opportunity, normally on, or at least in the local stations here, news, you never really get to see or hear a rock band, a legit rock band, get on there and just do their thing. How did this opportunity come to you? Because from my end, and although I haven't watched WGN in a while because not since then, I couldn't take the stress. But how did you wind up on WGN?
So they have bands that obviously play in the morning show and whatnot. So I just emailed the producer and basically stated, hey, we'd like to come on your show and all this other stuff. And one of our friends who's in a band, he actually was working down at WGN, and I asked him, I said, do you guys still have bands? He goes, yeah. I go, do you think we'd be able to maybe possibly go over well? He's like, well, yeah, just reach out and see what happens. I said, well, can I, say, hey, tell us that, what kind of band we are to the producer. So if she has any questions, but she came back to me and she's like, no, we'll definitely have you, and just basically reaching out and just giving her the information. And then, they came back and they said, it's got to be a certain length of time and no swearing or anything like that. But when we basically just submitted reached out and just submitted, and she came back and was like, basically, yeah, and then that got the ball rolling. And then we worked on truncating one of our songs to bring it down to the time frame it was, like 4 minutes and whatnot, and gave us all the information to come down there, when to show up, and
awesome.
And it was very, very smooth. And it was just by email, just say, you know what, you shoot out all these emails to people. We've all done it. We're trying to book a show here, trying to book a show there, or whatever the case is. And this was just, it's kind of a shot in the dark. They're like, well, it might be a little heavy, but they came back and they said no. And then our buddy actually ran the sound for us down there, which was great because we've known him, and so we were talking to him, and he dialed us in and played 4 minutes or whatever it was, and
so you really never know.
went to breakfast.
Again, you get those 10 no's and 1 yes, over those, and that happened to be because I actually, when he told me, he goes, oh, I emailed WGN. I'm like, oh, well, we'll see if that ever happens. And sure enough, it was like literally like a week later we got the opportunity.
I'm sure a lot of bands get rejected, and there's some bands that are on there, but I know we were one of the heavier ones.
Yeah.
And I think she kind of asked our buddy, with like, hey, are these guys like way too heavy? And he's like, no,
they're radio rock, I think he said.
But it was just through the email and the producer.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with podcasting, because I could email, because I have another show too, and I email people there. I email bands for this show, and I'm like, there's no way they're going to get back to me. And here we are. And I really appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to have you on this show, share your story, because I think it's an important one to tell, because although I am a fan of music, I'm also a fan of your hustle. And I'm a fan of your professionalism. So let's go back, because we're talking about 2026. It's shaping up to be a massive year for you. You've already started hot as it goes. The new single's out as well. How's it looking for the next few months? What are you most excited about, and what do you want to take off your bucket list?
So I know we're all excited. We have a lot of shows booked, and not just, in the Chicagoland area, but we're going to be playing out in Vancouver and Nashville and Wisconsin. So really stretching our range here and our audience. So we're really looking forward to that. I mean, that's one thing this band, above all things, I think we just all love to perform live. So that's like the biggest thrill about being in a band, putting your music out there for everyone to hear, and some people don't like it. That's fine, but you never know who's going to love it. And it's just, I love that challenge, actually, to go out there and on the stage and go, all right, it's showtime, let's see what we get. So I'm really excited about that part of our I guess you say our journey this year.
Oh yeah, same here. Like all three of those are all first for me. So I'm probably the least cultural out of any of us as far as where we've played, because I've only played usually in the United States. So playing in Canada is going to be awesome. Nashville's going to be awesome. Wisconsin, love it. Going to be playing with some good friends of ours that we met through all these online stations. So it's going to be a blast. I'm pretty excited about that too.
Steve is actually on the space shuttle on his way to the moon.
He's still on Artemis.
Yeah, he's on Artemis. Yeah, they sent him back up.
You'd be the only one there. I don't know if they really went up there. That's a whole different show, though. No, so because now that you're expanding, and I have a question, because I talk about the 3 years you've been together, and you guys act like you're family. You've been together for it feels like forever. Is there something that you guys? How do you prepare yourselves for these shows? Do you have any like a ritual you go through? Is there something you guys got to do before you hit that stage?
Well, we could go down the line. Abe, do you want to start it?
Yeah, sure. We have a pagan ritual that we perform. No, honestly, for our live shows, we just make sure that we rehearse before the show. And we all individually are working on our parts during the week before a show, or the days before a show as well. Me personally, I get in a mode, and I work on a couple different things. I have my stamina routine that I work on to be able to play an hour if we needed to. And then I have a routine that I really don't play our songs when I practice. I like to, for me, I'm at the point with our songs where I know them well enough, and I like to have just a little bit of artistic liberty when we go play them live. I mean, they're counting on me to hit my certain parts and certain notes, and those are going to be hit. But at the same time, I want to have a little bit of free form because, like I said, I am at my roots, I'm a jazz drummer. So I like to have a little bit of that I can throw in the live show. But no matter what happens with every single show, no matter how tired you are before the show, whatever, man, I sit down at the drums, and we all, right before we go on, the adrenaline hits and it just takes over, and whatever you had going on before that dissipates and it's gone.
Yeah, I don't have a ritual. I just want to make sure that everything works, like gear. Like I have faith in the rest of the band. They're going to play their parts and everything's going to go fine. But if, you're out of tune or your pedal dies out or something's not connected. I mean, I've had it when we played up in Michigan at the Token, like couldn't get the wireless, the head wasn't working. I mean, had it at the Forge, and there's always technical issues. That's my biggest fear, and just making sure that everything's connected properly and trying to make, go from there. The music part of it, I know we got that locked in. We're tight with that, but it's everyone's, like a snare head doesn't break or some guitar string doesn't break or something like that. So that's my thing, is just making sure everything is, we're all good. We're good. Okay, cool. We'll rock it.
So I wouldn't call it a ritual, but I drink a lot of water the day of the show. I'm always trying to stay hydrated, and I don't drink water at all. Like, I'm not much of a water drinker. So when it's showtime, I'm like, that's when I just guzzle the thing down.
Breaking news.
Yeah. So that's my ritual, that and vocal warm-ups. I try to practice every day, do vocal exercises beforehand. And then about half hour before we perform, I try to run through some runs and things like that, but nothing exciting, very boring routine.
Very boring band.
Yeah, we're a boring band off stage.
Yeah, I'm generally listening to our songs every day, and when we get ready to do a show, I'll put it in the order of the set list to listen to it in that order. When we have our new song release, now I can put them all in there again, but usually have to go back and forth because we have all of our songs on a hard drive that we share, virtual hard drive. So I listen to the songs probably once a day just to get them in my head, because I mean, I enjoy listening to them too. There are songs I'm proud of what we've done. So I generally try to run through the songs once a week. I try to restring at least a guitar, the one I use most, at least a few days before the show, and then play on it a little bit less. But the day of the show, I'm just kind of like, I usually try to grill because it's kind of relaxing for me if I can. I know it's unrelated, but it just helps keep me relaxed for the show, and try to go through my list of everything. And I'm always forgetting something and learning more, but trying to figure out how to navigate through shows with everything I need to bring, and I need a roadie to help me, but eventually. Anyhow, yeah, that's kind of my routine, and I try to warm up. I don't play our songs before the show, but I'll just kind of warm up with some exercises and scales, and that's about it.
So it's all individually. It makes sense because it seems to be working out. And I know we're coming up on the clock here in a few minutes, but I'm gonna have to I'm going to put you on the spot when I ask a really interesting question to you. Let's say I haven't been in Chicago since 2000. That's a long story as to why I was there. We'll talk about it offline one day. We've had a long night. You guys have a great show. It's late. I'm bringing my own sunglasses. I have sunglasses for every season and every reason. Where are we going to go eat after the show?
Oh, well, Steve, where was the place we used to go eat? There's a Golden Nugget. Okay,
yes.
So the Golden Nugget, that's
breakfast.
A lot of places in the city. There's a lot of Golden Nuggets. We've hit many of those, pretty much maybe twice. But we used to do that. I mean, there was places. I mean, now it's like, hey, let's go back home and pick up Taco Bell.
Yeah, Taco Bell or Whitey's. They'll be like those. Yeah. That'll be like.
But Denny's or the Golden Nugget. Those are the two.
When we played out in East Moline, we went out to that one place.
Yeah, but what would be your normal one? It would be breakfast.
I don't know. I mean, I know a couple times, maybe El Gallo. I think we've been there. That burrito place over on Cicero. I think that's a place we've gone to a lot. So, or there's another place. There's Lucky Burrito. over in Moni, or there's the Iron Skillet.
That closed
there a couple times. Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, that was a good place.
It's breakfast. Usually, our tacos are
Well, yeah, Mexican.
Whitey's, White Castle. That's a go-to staple food. Sober you right up.
One way or another, it'll sober you up.
Yeah.
My goodness. No, I was hoping to say anywhere from a Waffle House. You have to have at least a 3rd-degree black belt to be at a Waffle House. At least the one down the road here, because there's always something going on.
I don't even know if we have Waffle House around here, do we?
No, not in Northern Illinois. I think Southern Illinois a little bit more, or maybe not even Kentucky or something like that.
Denny's.
Well, I like Denny's. Yeah, Moon's over my hammy. That's the one to get there. So now,
coffee to go.
Man, I'm already hungry. I just had barbecue too. I'm already hungry. Now, before we go, for our friends, the listeners of Bonus Overdrive Wednesday, they want to learn more about the Rising Fall, where you're going to be, and where to listen. Where can they go find out?
You can log on to our actual main website, which is therisingfallband.com. And then under our bio are all our links to every social that we have. We're everywhere: YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. You can find out more about the news that's going on. Generally, our Facebook is pretty up to date with everything going on. So that's Facebook, and it's just / the Rising Fall 4, the numeral 4. So that one's usually your go-to to really be up to what's current with us. But again, go to our website. It's all there. You can listen to all of our songs on there too. And then you can also, we're getting to the point where you can order merchandise on our website too. So
baby steps, but the main website gives you everything you need. So
all the right steps. And now for the moment I've been waiting for, it's actually one of my favorite parts of the show. You just released the new single, Turn It Around. It's hitting hard. I just listened to it over and over before we started. What's the story behind this track, and what do you hope the fans feel after they blast it between their ears?
John, you remember this?
What? Huh? What?
So what John's trying to say is he came up with this drum beat out of nowhere.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
So he just started playing it, and then all of a sudden, I just started playing this bass riff, and it gelled, and it was like, okay, that's cool. And then Steve, at the end of the tail of it, he's like, change it up to this, and then that was the main part of it, and we just kind of started jamming on it, and with the different progressions, the different notes, and all that stuff, and it was actually pretty simple to write, but it just started out with a drum pattern and a bass line, and then we added everything else, vocals, and you know, we fine-tuned it and everything, but it just came from a quick drum beat.
And I wrote all the lyrics in the shower. It just hit me. I was like, and I also, you know, the message behind Turn It Around is, you know, you could have these crappiest days, and there's like, it looks like no light at the end of the tunnel, but you have to have that mindset, again, that can't keep us down kind of mindset, that eventually things will turn around, and it may be up to you to get in a different mindset to do that. But no matter how gray it is out there, there's always a little glimmer of light. So
excellent. Very inspirational. I'd like to thank all of you for being on the show. And this is the Rising Fall with Turn It Around on Bonus Overdrive Wednesday right now. Thank you, my friends.
Thank you.
It's like 40 days since I've seen the sun. Filled with wicked blows, guess I'm the chosen one. And I looked at the sky and try and scream the clouds away. Finding slippers that fly through the gray, so I keep telling myself it's okay, okay, forget about it. Someday you let it go. No way, it's bringing you down. You gotta turn it around. It's okay, bury me. Weight on my shoulders too heavy to carry me.